Good morning, my name is Pixie Seymour and I'm the author of Agnotology and Vaccines. I'm going to do a book reading for you today, but before I forget, if you'd like your own copy of Agnotology and Vaccines, then please click on the link below this video. What have we got today? The vaccine purchase route in Australia. The strategic development and delivery of the Immunise Australia program is overseen by the National Immunisation Committee, NIC. Through the Communicable Diseases Network Australia, the NIC reports to the Australian Health Protection Principal Committee, the AHPPC, the coordinating body for Australia's national response to public health emergencies and communicable diseases. The AHPPC is chaired by the Chief Medical Officer and reports to Australian Health Ministers Advisory Council, that's the AHMAC. So you see the long and convoluted journey a vaccine has to go through and how many yeses it needs to get before we can inject these toxins into our babies. The deadly joke that is vaccine safety assessment. Incredibly, vaccines are not required to undergo anything even approaching a long-term double-blind inert placebo-controlled trial to assess safety. In fact, not even one of the clinical trials for vaccines given to babies and toddlers had a control group receiving an inert placebo. Further, most pediatric vaccines currently on the market have been approved based on studies with inadequate follow-up periods of only a few days or weeks. For example, one of the two hepatitis B vaccines licensed by the FDA for injection into one-day-old babies, one was licensed after trials that solicited adverse reactions for only 5 days after vaccination, and the other was licensed after trials that solicited adverse reactions for only 4 days after vaccination. In addition, the HIV vaccines were licensed based on trials which only looked for adverse reactions for 3 and 4 days respectively post-vaccination. The only standalone polio vaccine was licensed after the pathetic time frame of a 48-hour follow-up period. All these trials either had no control group or a control group which received other vaccines as the so-called placebo. How is that a fair assessment to measure the safety of a vaccine by pitting it against another vaccine in the trials? The real side effect rate for a vaccine can only be measured accurately by comparing subjects receiving the vaccine with those receiving a true inert placebo. This basic study design, required for every other drug on the market, is just not applied to vaccines. From the manufacturer to the government. I recommend that every big player in government, from the mayor to any Prime Minister, sitting or historical, take a good long look at their funding resources. I ask myself often, why? Why would people that make up the government and its agencies completely ignore all stories of vaccine injury? Why would they all completely ignore the screams of agony from a bunch of mums and dads with sick and dead children? It boggles my mind. Think, damn it. If you are one of those that aid and abet those that want babies injected with neurotoxins, then you are as bad as those that are telling you to do those injections. There is no salvation from knowing these are toxic injections, or even suspecting there is a problem with them and continuing to work a job for money in exchange for babies' very lives. If this is you, then stop right now. Walk out, call up and resign if you are reading this at home. Stop injecting little babies and children with what you know is / could be a problem, and research until you are 100% certain that what I'm telling you about the dangers of vaccines is rubbish. You won't be able to. They are wildly toxic, harming babies and children, and soon you too. You know they're pushing for mandatory vaccines for adults, don't you? Why? All their so-called science to back up their claims can be refuted, procedures called into question, or are funded by the manufacturers. That's just to name a few problems with what passes for science. If you are a health professional, then please, I beg you, get serious about offering health services to your clients. Keep learning every day in service of these people and get up to speed on the science behind vaccines. And always remember that the excuse of, I was just doing my job, didn't even save those 7 doctors from the hangman's noose at the subsequent Nuremberg trials. Is it any wonder, with language like data was excluded, that we believe anything science has to tell us? That's the end of today's video. I hope you're getting more information every day from these videos. If you'd like your own copy of Agnotology and vaccines, please remember to click the link below. I hope you have a good day, and thank you for watching.